In terms of franchises, Carrie's a weird one because it's not so much a franchise as it is a string of the same movies. Although, as we're going to find out, there is some variations going on here and there are some follow-ups. So let's take a look and see what makes up this timeline. And yeah, we've covered a whole bunch of Stephen King adaptations. I'm surprised it took me this long to get to this one, but I figured it's about time. And you know what? It feels weird to not do this during prom season, but hey, what can you do? We begin back in 1976 with the original Brian De Palma, Carrie. It was based on a Stephen King novel and was actually his first big screen version of one of his works. We meet young Carrie, and she's a coal miner's daughter. She has her very first period and doesn't quite know how to handle it, but her classmates instead just tease her and ridicule her. There's posters that say the prom is on May 25th, and Carrie shows signs of having extra normal abilities like making an ashtray flip over and making a kid on a bike crash. Her mother is Catherine Martell, and she's a bit nutty herself and locks her daughter in the closet. In her classroom, her teacher is one of the Cuckoo's Nest, and a classmate is a great American hero, possibly the greatest. And another is totally cool, like totally. And there's also Officer Lewis and Amy Irving. And I just think Sue Snell when I see her, so that's what I'm calling her. Because of their treatment of Carrie, they're threatened to not be able to go to the prom, while she discovers that she's telekinetic. And where's a bald guy in a wheelchair when you need one, right? Vinnie Barbarino is on hand too, and Sue feels bad about what they did, so she asks Tommy to invite Carrie to prom. As she's getting ready to go, her mother says the things.
I can see your dirty pillows.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
When she arrives at the big dance, everyone is actually nice to her. Mrs. Collins checks on her. And as the night goes on, Tommy and Carrie are up for prom king and queen. Thanks to some tampering from Chris and Billy, they win and go up on stage to be crowned. And right as everything is going great, they dump a bucket of pig's blood on her, to the shock of everyone. That shock soon turns to laughter, and she uses her powers, along with a handy split screen, to trap everyone in and attack them. I guess Norma is killed here, but I'm not totally clear why, but I guess she hit her neck wrong on the table. Mrs. Collins is also killed, as is Mr. Frome, and a fire breaks out, sealing everyone in and killing them. Walking home, Chris and Billy try to run her down, and she wrecks their car, causing it to explode. She gets to her house and washes off, but her mother snaps and stabs her. She uses her powers to fight back and kills her mom, and then destroys her own house, which collapses in and kills her. Sue is the sole survivor of the night, and it's not shown, but I guess Tommy burnt to death in the fire, but it's never really made clear if the fire killed him or the bucket falling on his head. Sue goes to Carrie's house, and someone has vandalized the for sale sign there, and her hand bursts through the ground. But it's all just a dream. Now, there's no date given in this one, so we'll have to roll with Real-Time 76 for now. It took a while, but a sequel arrived 23 years later in 1999 with The Rage, Carrie 2. We meet a mom who's gone over the edge and painting everything, and her daughter tries to get through to her, to no avail. She's institutionalized, and little Rachel is also telekinetic. It then jumps ahead some years, and Rachel is now with foster parents, and her school friend is an American Beauty, or an American Pie, or an American whatever. She's in high school with one of the Londons, because I guess he wasn't tied up doing a shark movie at this point, and the little Taylor kid is here too. And hey, speaking of American Pie, Finch is here too. But later that day, Lisa jumps off the roof and kills herself. Turns out that one of the teachers at the school is none other than Sue Snell, and it turns out that Lisa was snubbed by Eric after having sex with her, and the jocks try to get the pictures of them together from Rachel to cover for him. They say that Sue may still be traumatized by events from 20 years ago and has a flashback to the first film. When Rachel's dog is run over, she's picked up by Jesse, who takes her to the vet, and the pair bond. Sue talks to Rachel about her past experience and says that she was committed afterwards, in the same place that Rachel's mother was sent, and sees that old Carrie spark. When Rachel turns the picture over to the police, Eric gets in trouble, so they start to antagonize her, and Jesse objects. They become an item, and Sue goes to talk to Rachel's mom, and it turns out that Rachel's dad was also Carrie's dad, so they're half-sisters. So Sue takes her to where the old high school was. She says that 73 people died, and that she hasn't been there in over 20 years. So this is more than 20 years later. And I guess the telekinesis is genetic? The popular kids start to plan a revenge while Sue breaks Rachel's mom out of Arkham. After a big football game, they have a party at a remote house and everyone is nice to Rachel, but Jessie is distracted by another girl, and she has a calendar that says it's September and the days of the week line up with 1998. So that seems to be our year, which makes sense with saying that the first one was more than 20 years ago. Back at the party, they humiliate Rachel, and for some reason, Carrie's mom's voice can be heard. Which is weird considering that she never met her and has no relation. Rachel's tattoo then spreads over her body, which I'm pretty sure isn't how telekinesis works. And she kicks things into gear and attacks. And Sue shows up and, kind of hilariously, she's instantly killed. She uses her powers to kill most everyone, getting wounded in the process, but her mother spurns her by saying that she's possessed. Jesse arrives and he professes to loving her, so she saves his life while the fire burns her. It then jumps 1 year later, so I guess it's 1999 now, and he has a vision of her coming to see him. It was only 3 more years before something else happened with the franchise, since in 2002 there was a made-for-TV remake, again just called Carrie. This one starts with David Keith, not Keith David, and he's questioning Duala, who is this version's Sue Snell, and then flashes back to 1 week before prom, and our new Carrie is May, and Ginger is on hand too, and so is Claire. We get the shower scene and the principal's office, and it's pretty exact, even down to a good portion of the dialogue. But then there's a new bit with a flashback to when she was young and used her powers to rain down fireballs from the sky. Her mom is now Tammy Swanson 1, and the plot still stays pretty close, although Ms. Collins is now Ms. Desjardins, and she's way more aggressive.
I'm leaving.
With teachers who throw students against lockers and then assault them with feminine hygiene products?
Well, that is a slightly exaggerated version of events.
Is it? I mean, that's literally what happened. She practices her abilities, and this Tommy asks her to the prom, and again, things follow the plotline insanely close with the exception of the framing device of the police investigation afterwards. At one point, Detective Mulcahy finds a yearbook for the current year, and it's marked the class of 2001 to 2002. And since they're all seniors and it's the spring right before the prom, this is 02. The big night arrives and Tommy picks her up all done up, and she gets a bunch of attention. And then the blood dump happens, but it's pretty hilarious because it's just a regular bucket and like 17 gallons dumped down on her. It's like this never-ending stream. Tommy gets clonked, Carrie snaps, and Tina gets smushed, while others are trapped in the fire. The principal dies and most of the class is electrocuted, and then she strolls down the street causing chaos with spotty effects. She finds Chris and Billy and they try to run her down but are comedically killed. She goes back home and her mom tries to drown her, so Carrie crushes her heart. And just as it seems like she's dying, Sue saves her. But then there's this one's biggest change in that they fake Carrie's death. We get an official confirmation of the year via her tombstone, which says it's 2002. And she moves on as they do a twist on the ending of the first one, as this was meant to be a sort of a backdoor pilot for a TV series, but they didn't go forward with it. Our final entry here is yet another remake, this one from 2013, 11 years later. And this one starts off even further back with Carrie's mom, and now it's Amber Waves. She gives birth, almost killing the baby, but then doesn't go through with it. It then jumps ahead, and Carrie is now a hit girl, and her teacher wants you to say goodbye to these. We get the shower scene again, and the principal's office again, and the bike kid again, the prayer closet. But then we twist things because we're clearly in present day and the internet is here, so it's clear that it's likely set in the present. Again, Carrie learns about her powers and watches a video on them, but it's from 2006. But it's an old video, so that doesn't give us enough info. In this version, Tommy is sympathetic to Carrie right away, and as expected, he asks her to prom and she says yes, which angers Mommy. In this version, Sue discovers that she's pregnant with Tommy's baby, and the big night arrives. Everything follows the story exactly the way that you think that it's going to for the third time now, and we get the blood dump. They throw in the extra humiliation of also showing the plug it up footage, and everyone does indeed laugh at her. The bucket drops, and here it's far more obvious that it kills Tommy, and of course, things pop off. She kills a bunch of people, but lets Desjardins live, and in this one, I guess, contorts more? Like a horror villain? Judging from all the people outside, far more students survive here, and there's the showdown with Chris and Billy in the car. Of course, she then goes home and is again stabbed by Mom and fights back. Here, though, Sue shows up, and as the house collapses, Carrie senses that she's pregnant and saves her. In the end, Sue goes to her gravesite, which says that Carrie died in 2013, so that was our year here, and the tombstone cracks, so she may still live, since this is not shown to be a dream. So there you have it, 4 movies, 3 separate continuities. We have Carrie and Carrie 2 as one, the made-for-TV remake as a second, and the 2013 version as the third definite continuity. And yeah, I like most of these. I love the original Carrie. It's a great movie. Carrie 2 is pretty fun. Not great, but it's fun. And I thought the 2002 version was actually better than I expected it to be. It's, not really that necessary. It doesn't do much different, but it is pretty well done. The modern remake is very much superfluous. Like, it just feels completely unnecessary. It doesn't add anything new. Doesn't make any real changes. It's supposed to have brought in the whole online internet bullying thing into it, but it doesn't really do that much with it. It's like 2 scenes. So yeah, it doesn't really add all that much. It's not bad though. I mean, I guess it's not awful. It's just very forgettable. Let me know if you've enjoyed these. Let me know which of these is your favorite. Let me know if you don't like the Carrie movies at all. Tell me that down below in the comments. I'd like to hear it. Also didn't include Friday the 13th Part 7, which is sort of an unofficial Carrie movie. Wink. But yeah, if you liked this one, hit that like button. If you like the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to get notified when more videos are coming up. And go to my Patreon page at patreon.com/movietimelines to help support this channel and keep getting these videos made. But yep, there's going to be another one coming very soon. Very soon. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.